August the 11th, 1987. Crawled out of my bunk on the Garria Bay early this morning, very early. In fact, the sun had not yet climbed out of the ocean. A longliner was approaching, heading in the bay. I could scarcely believe my eyes. It was the Avalon Clipper, Vern Petten's boat from Port de Grave, Conception Bay. What in the world was the Avalon Clipper doing this far north on the coast of Labrador? A call on the CB explained things. The fishery back home was poor, so Vern decided to move north and fish for crabs out of Mary's Harbour. He was on his way in now with a full load.
Stepped in, did you? Yeah. I was allowed to.
Vern had planned his trip so that he'd arrive early in the morning, in time for the plant workers who start their shift at 8 a.m. First, though, you've got to get the crabs out of the boat and into the plant. Up till a couple of years ago, the only crab caught here had been those tangled in gill nets, and these were cursed upon and thrown away. Today, at $1 a pound, no one wants to throw away these crabs. These crab, which come from waters 50 to 60 miles off the Labrador coast, were discovered by Fisheries and Oceans Surveys a few years ago. In an effort to develop a new crab fishery, licenses were issued to Labrador fishermen. However, most Labradorians had boats which were too small to fish that far offshore, so they teamed up with Newfoundlanders. That's how Vern Petten got to Labrador this year.
Well, Vern, I didn't expect to see a Port of Graveman this far north.
No, that's right, no. Yeah, well, it was a bad year out run home, bad at the cabling, and the first year in my lifetime I never had a cod trap, so Mr. O'Brien, Bud O'Brien called me, and the men from Labrador had the license. They wanted me to come down and use their license, you know, and I thought it was a good opportunity to make a few dollars, eh?
And you've been making a few dollars.
Very good since we come here, you know. I don't know what area of crab is here, because we could just put our pots out and we've happened on them every week we've been out, you know.
You know, it looks like you had a pretty good load this morning coming in.
Yeah, yes, we had the hole full. We haven't got much room for boxing them, but we had 2 containers full on the stern and the hole full.
Now, this boat wasn't designed for crab fishing, was it?
No, but we're safe with 22,000 for that. That's a good catch.
You've come in with that much sometimes?
We got roughly 20 to 21 aboard another day, you know.
That's a good day's pay, or good week's pay. This is the way the
that's
prices
right,
are.
yeah. We try to get in 2 trips a week anyway.
Eventually, as Labradorians get bigger boats of their own, Newfoundlanders like Vern Petten will have worked themselves out of a job. In the meantime, he's proud to take part in this new fishery. The other crab boat fishing out of Mary's Harbour is owned by Labradorian Lloyd Hicks.
Yeah, all my crew are Labradorian.
Yeah, and some other fellows are fishing with Newfoundlanders.
Yeah, at least they're licensed to Newfoundland boats.
Oh, yeah. Eventually, though, it'll be a Labrador-based fishery, I suppose.
I hope so.
Yeah. You got some young fellows coming along that might take over sometime?
Yeah, I got 3 young fellows now, so I'm hoping they might use that license. I not intend to use it myself, not after we get settled away anyway. Right. For a year or 2 now, I might try to get it going, but after that, then I'm not going at it.
Yeah, it's a young man's game, is it?
A young man's game.
Is it pretty hard out there, Lloyd? You got to go a fair distance from home.
Yeah, we got a 40-hour trip, so you got to have about 2 nights in a day, roughly, you know.
It's a new fishery, a new way of life that will take some getting used to. If the crab stocks and the price hold up, there'll be bigger and better boats involved in the fishery, and they'll be owned by people here in Labrador. But for now, it's a shared bonanza. One thing about the crab fishery, it's very labor-intensive. One boat employs 5 or 6 fishermen, but the crab they catch keeps several times as many people busy ashore. Getting the meat out of these crabs is tedious and time-consuming. To see how it's done, let's tag along to the crab plant here in Mary's Harbour. Mary's Harbour fishery is owned by the Labrador-based Fishermen's Union Shrimp Company, but Quinlan's and Cape Pine fisheries are also involved. Processing manager Andy O'Driscoll of Witless Bay showed me through the plant and proudly described the production line.
When you break the shell off of a crab, there's gills and there's a mouthpiece, a mandible that's called, that's on the end of it. The Japanese won't have any, like I say, discoloration. So these are black. The gills are black. So the butchering table has brushes, and you have to start from the bottom and roll back towards you. It takes this off. If not, our production line is slowed down with the girls doing more scrubbing than what they should. They should just make one little rub and it's done. And the butchers just crack them and throw them in. Well, everything slows down to a crawl.
So the quality control begins with the butchering?
Quality control begins with the holding room, to make sure that it's iced and it's cool and its temperature is low and crab stays good. Like if we start in the morning, we want good, same quality of crab in the evening.
Yep.
And everybody has their position, everybody knows what they have to do to keep crab alive, keep good quality right from the beginning. The crab comes off your butchering line, it goes into a basket, it's put in the water, then you wait until the water reaches 212 degrees again. The water is boiling when it goes in, but then the cold crab goes in, you wait for it to come back up to 212, and then you cook for 8 minutes.
8 minutes?
8 minutes, yeah. And then we take it out, cool it, till it reaches, we can 45 degrees, 45, section temperature 45 degrees, and then to the section table. I was surprised with it. We brought 2 girls from our plant in Witless Bay up to show the girls how to sort and pack, and they caught on really well, really well. Our production started slow and it steadily climbed. Women
are good fish plant workers, they tell me.
Women are very good fish plant workers, very good fish plant workers. I guess it's in their nature. A little tidier, a little cleaner, and steady work. Steady work is always better than fast work. Sometimes men like to pile things up and have a smoke and then go back at it again, but that gets congestion in the plant. Women usually just stay to a steady flow, and at the end of the day you'll find that there's more work been done from steady work than fast spurts back and forth.
All the crab processed here goes to the other side of the world, to Japan, where the customer is extremely particular.
The Japanese eat with their eyes. Presentation is everything, the Japanese people. But when they deal in something that is expensive and as good looking quality, I mean, you can see it in the packages when it's laid out right and it's just so. I mean, you can imagine what it's worth in a Japanese restaurant in Tokyo if it's presented in the right fashion, and presentation has to start at the plant, not in Tokyo.
And so the people of Mary's Harbour prepare crab meat for the Japanese market. It's a new industry for Labrador. What does it mean to the people of Mary's Harbour? I spoke with Ford Rumbold.
Well, Ford, what does all this mean now for Mary's Harbour?
Well, this is a bit different from what they were doing every other year. Past 2 years, they was just cooking the meat and shipping it out, just bringing in butchering and shipping it out. This year it's a bit different. They're breaking down into sections. It's not probably as successful as what they thought to be. They thought to get probably the majority of it would have been fit for the Japanese market, but as you know, the Japanese is very particular, and they got to be the bright orange and no dirt, and if they're a bit darker brown, which you're not going to find in Labrador, because Labrador people got a tendency to have brown skin, right? So they're not much good to them.
So
but
the crabs are brown skinned then?
Yeah, a lot of them is brown skin, so they're not suitable for the Japanese market.
Yeah.
Not saying that they're not suitable for the Japanese market. They take them, but at a very low price.
So it's not quite as good as you'd expected?
No, it's not. We got about our yield is less than 50%.
But still, it means a lot to the community.
It do mean a lot, yeah. We got, with management and the workers here, there's, I think there's somewhere around 55 employees here working there now at the present time. And if we'd have got them other 2 boats working, so they could have got out fishing, we would have had 2 shifts on there now, full time.
Hopefully next year there will be full employment for the people who live here in Mary's Harbour. More boats fishing, and if all goes according to plan, they'll be extracting crab meat, not just shipping away sections. A few miles away from Mary's Harbour lies Lodge Bay. Here people follow the traditional way of life, living close to the forest in the winter, moving out to the fishing grounds in summer. The place is empty now. Everyone's fishing at Cape Charles. That's where we're headed to, Cape Charles, after we visit Battle Harbour. August 12th. After a few hours' steam, Battle Harbour comes into view. The old buildings are still standing, solid and proud and gleaming, a monument to the early history of Labrador. They say this place was established over 200 years ago by the Slade Company of England, that great square riggers came here to load salt fish and seal oil for Europe, that a great chain used to moor these ships still lies at the bottom of the harbour. Later there were schooners from Newfoundland and explorers and adventurers and missionaries and settlers. Battle Harbour was the most important place on the entire coast. And now, except for the summer months when families move out for the fishery, Battle Harbour is practically a ghost town. And they say Bert Hardy is retiring, that this is the last year he'll be running the business for Earls of Carbonear. Bert's been coming here for 35 years. This place means a lot to him.
Bert, I believe Battle Harbour was a pretty important place in the early history of Labrador.
It certainly was. It was capital Labrador. One time, they had the first Marconi station was here, and the first hospital was here, and it was center of commerce. As a matter of fact, this was the only place on the coast that they could buy food all the year round. They used to come as far as Frenchman's Island and places like that, row up here and sail up, you know, a long ways away, 60, 50 miles, like that.
As you leave this place, you must have strong feelings about what should happen to it, because it would be a shame, wouldn't it, for this all to fall
it certainly
down?
would. This is about the only place left now like this, and it'd be a shame to let it fall down. I think it certainly should be restored or something like that, you know.
You've tidied it up as much as you can, I see.
Oh, definitely. Yes, I got it in very good shape now.
Yeah.
I've been whitewashing the buildings and repairing them. I got them all set up now, so when I pull out of here now, everything will be in very good shape.
Conscious of the historic importance of Battle Harbour and the fact that he's leaving, Bert Hardy this year spent every spare moment gathering together relics of a lost era, the days of sail, the days when Battle Harbour had a strong and vibrant fishery.
This item here is for hoisting the anchor on a schooner. It's I just forget the name, but this here is a very interesting thing. It's what you call a cod seine critch. Now, in the old days, the cod seine boat had a glass in the middle, and when they see the fish, they'd throw over their nets. And when they throw over the nets, they'd put this in the rising of the boat, and their paddles would rest on the outside of the boat so it wouldn't get tangled up with the net. And then they'd haul the fish in, haul the net in, and get the fish. You see?
Bert, I suppose some of this now you had to sort of scratch your head a bit too to figure out what it was.
I sure did, because I had no idea in the world what this was till one of the older people here came in and explained it to me. And there's a horn that they use on the Grand Banks. We bought a schooner, and this equipment was aboard her, and in the fog, you know, they use this to let this captain on the schooner know where they were.
As Bert rummaged about his museum, I marveled at how much these early fishermen and sailors had to know. But some of the objects had nothing to do with survival at sea.
Now, this here...
That's really strange. What's that? Bowling pins, it looks like.
That's Skittles. They used to use, that's what they used to use in this building in their spare time. The company have a game of Skittles, and same as bowling, actually. And that's what they use this for.
And that was all handmade, just carved from wood?
That was handmade, yeah. This is made of very hard wood, this one here. It's, I just forget the name. From South America, I think that wood comes from. This here is a very interesting thing too. Used to, in the old days, the cod liver, they used to put in puncheons, you see. And the sun had rendered out, and when the oil had come on top of it, they'd take this and they'd put it into the tears. So,
And so Bert showed me one artifact after another. Simple, common-day things in their time, but now fading from memory. Touching reminders of how our grandparents lived, of a special time in our history. But Bert wasn't through with me yet. There were other places to see in Battle Harbour.
that used to be the doctor's residence when the Grenfell Hospital was there, you see. I would say that's the only one left on the Labrador at the original building.
The church, now that's another old building, I would think.
That church, yes, that church is 130 years old, I think. That church is.
It's still okay inside?
Oh, it's perfect inside. They're going to try to restore it, but if it's not looked after soon, it'll fall down, you know. Now that other building down there, that old one with the flag mast there, that's the original Ranger building.
Newfoundland Rangers?
Newfoundland Rangers, yeah.
So there's quite a bit of activity here, quite a centre, wasn't it?
It was, yes, indeed.
And surely it's important to keep up these old buildings.
Oh my, it sure is. I wouldn't like to see those go down for anything.
Well, finally it was time to go. We said our goodbyes to Bert Hardy, who'll soon be leaving this place forever. That's what they say, but I have my doubts. I think he'll be back. We steamed out of old, historic Battle Harbour, an ancient, captivating place, a living museum. What does the future hold for such places, I wonder? Will Battle Harbour continue to crumble and decay? Can it survive even as a summer fishing station? With the Labrador fishery bouncing back, there's more than a spark of hope these days. Next, skipper Don Linfield turned the nose of the Garria Bay for Cape Charles. It's not far away from Battle Harbour. Now, Cape Charles is the summer residence of the people of Lodge Bay, the deserted village we'd visited a couple of days before. In the spring, everyone moves here, lock, stock, and barrel. It's the old traditional way of life here in Labrador to have a winter place in the sheltered bay near the forest, a summer place out here on the coast near the fish. At least that's the way it's supposed to be. But the fish were a bit scarce when we dropped into Cape Charles and found Stuart Pye and his boys getting set to go out to their trap.
Well, Stuart, you're going to make another try at the trap.
Yeah, we're going to try it again, haul up and have another look.
Yeah, not much there to hear, I hear.
Nothing at all.
Any fish around at all, though, or?
Well, there's nothing in the cod trap. The cod trap was a failure.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it too late now for the traps? Or there's still
No,
time?
It's not too late. There's a bit of time left yet, and you've got a week or two, probably a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but you picked up some fish, but just not enough to make it worthwhile.
Well, if they come in, I mean, the trap like it do sometimes, well, you could pick up nice fish a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
No problem. You get 100 grams of fish in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. But so far, no good.
Yeah.
Well, your boys were a bit disappointed too, I suppose.
They're all disappointed. They was hoping on getting some loose canoe or something.
Yeah. Well, anyway, maybe we'll see you out there. Hope the luck turns today.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Hope we will.
Yeah. Haven't that far to go.
10 minutes.
Very good. Yeah. Well, good luck to you.
Thanks.
See you later.
We could need it.
Okay.
And so, Stuart Pye and Sons headed out to sea, while we poked around the new salt fish facility at Cape Charles. we found that the plant had been taken over by the women of the community. They were busy taking the fish out of salt bulk and loaded onto pallets for shipment to a dryer somewhere in Newfoundland. Marvin Burns, who was doing some work along the coast for the Salt Fish Corporation, was intrigued to discover that all the fish had been split by these young women. So we had to find out more from Carol Pye, Marion Pye, and Priscilla Kippenhuck.
We hear that all the splitting is done here by women, is that right?
Yes, right, sir.
Yeah, and three of you, I understand, are splitters.
Yes, sir.
And how did you get to start splitting fish?
Well, the men used to split fish here before, and they were busy at their own work, doing their own fishing, so Bob said that he was going to train some women.
Yeah.
So he started us out last summer with 2 weeks training, and now we do all the splitting.
Yeah, and how did you feel about starting to split fish? Just always referred to as a man's job.
Afraid going to cut our fingers.
You're afraid, yeah? Well, you didn't cut your fingers?
Never cut my...
Only once.
Never.
Yeah, and who taught you how to split?
Well, Bob
Your
came
foreman?
over.
Yeah.
He picked
Yes,
up
he was a good splitter,
short
right?
fish and split them, and we made it from that.
Yeah, we saw people do it before.
Yeah, well, you certainly have made an excellent job. I've been looking over the fish here, all over the tops of the pallets here, and you've done an excellent job splitting, you know. I noticed you've got them all split right down to the tail there, and you've got the bone taken out in the right position so you don't leave any blood there. And this is only your second year at it?
Second summer, yeah.
Well, I should say your foreman must be pretty proud of the job you're doing here.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's certainly good.
It sounds like a good idea. Everyone always seems to take it for granted that a splitter has to be an old, experienced fisherman. Obviously not. And if women can take charge ashore, this gives the men more time on the water. It's a chance for the family to make more money and a better system of sharing the work. It seems to make sense. Salt fish from Labrador. As we watch the women of Cape Charles get it ready for market, I wondered how many hundreds of thousands of tons have been caught on these shores in the days before the fishery collapsed. I thought back to just a few years ago when Land and Sea visited but couldn't find a fish to eat, let alone to film. Everyone was jigging rock cods then. The foreigners fishing offshore had all but destroyed the traditional inshore fishery. The cod aren't back to where they were generations ago, but the fishery is picking up and so is the price. It's a heartening sign. But it was time to go, to say goodbye to the girls of Cape Charles. We headed north along the coast. A longliner steamed by, heading for Fox Harbour most likely. We passed Stuart Pye and his sons, out jigging now. There couldn't have been much in the trap, as he'd predicted. Occasionally there were icebergs to be seen, slowly and solemnly drifting south. Skipper Don gave them a wide berth. The skipper says it will be 4 hours to Triangle, where we'll tie up for the night, and after that we'll pick our way through Squash O'Ron and on to Punchbowl. They say we won't believe our eyes when we get there. We'll see. That will have to be another page in this Labrador diary.